All right, Jules Boucher here. Welcome to Outperform. Today we're going to talk about bench pressing with a shoulder grip. Closer grip. Now, from a grappling-based standpoint, a lot of combative athletes, I'd like to program a lot of a closer grip for benching. Okay. Now, it's not because of aesthetic purposes. Of course, we're training for more performance, and when we are benching in a wide grip, we will develop a better chest, okay, as far as a widening aspect. But for grappling base, we like a lot of close grip benching at Outperform, because what's happening is most of the time for all grappling based sports, unless it's a certain judo throw where we're pulling, which would be emphasizing more of a type of snatch or a power clean of those high wide rows, is a lot of inside elbow attacks, all right? Inside elbow pulling, all right? A lot of pulling inside. Elbows are always staying in because we're trying to stay tight. Anytime our elbows, our arms are away from our body, we become more acceptable to attacks, okay? So we're gonna train the same way, all right? As we're on the ground and we're pushing someone away, we're shrimping away, we're always pushing like this. So this is why we implement a lot of close grip training. Now, this is not an end-all tutorial on close grip benching, but I just want to point out some certain aspects for a lot of people that don't understand. Excuse me. Now, with that said, the reason why I'm doing this video is because even though I came from a fitness background and from a bodybuilding type of background, most athletes are not efficient or proficient at lifting, all right? Most of them actually don't know shit about lifting, okay? It's actually building them from the ground up, all right? So this video is for people who are new to lifting, who don't really understand the concepts of lifting and where hand placements goes and so on. So what I want you to look at, which you might be hard with the video, is there's what they call a knurl or knurl on the bar, all right? This is that cross-threaded groove that allows the bar not to be smooth, so that way you can have a better grip, all right? Well, you're gonna have this knurl right here. It's in the middle, there's a space, smooth, and then it starts up again and it goes all the way out wide because you can do wide benching. Right in here, there's a ring, all right? This is a marker, all right? Now, I'm gonna get down the bench and show you what it looks like. So here is, here's the middle of the bar. Here's that smooth space, and here's the knurl. There's the ring right here. Depending on your shoulder width, some people feel really comfortable just putting their pinky on the inside of that knurl right here around that ring, and that will set up their standard bench press position. Okay, see how my elbows are slightly flared out? No matter how you bench, we never bench like this, okay? Our elbows would be more at almost like a 45, and we come down and come up. If you're a little bit wider in the shoulders, it might be a little bit more comfortable for you to take your ring finger and just loop it around that ring right there, okay? And that, most of the time, even for me, is a lot more of a comfortable position. I feel that my shoulder can move more adequately through the range of motion properly, all right? But as we get closer, those elbows also have to get closer. That's a huge misconception. So I see a lot of people, I'll say like, look, you need to do close grip bench press. Either way, no matter where they put their hands, and we'll talk about it, they come in here, and I see this. All right? Okay, one, that's not good for your shoulders or your elbows. And just because it doesn't hurt or feel bad right now, doesn't mean years later down the road, if you keep doing that, it's not gonna hurt, all right? But if we're talking about grappling, when do we do this? Only if you wanna get your shit broke, all right? So we always have our elbows in. If I'm doing a standard grip, I can even slowly then begin to start, look, I'm turning my elbows in and I'm coming down. I can already start that type of movement already, all right? And sometimes I will say that. I will program lifters to do a regular bench press and it would be like this. But sometimes I may say standard grip elbows in. So standard grip elbows in is I'm rotating my elbows in, I'm torquing them, and I'm coming down. Now that also means I'm gonna have to brace my middle back, okay? So I'll torque them and bring them in, boom. As we get to a close grip, as I said, your elbows will start to come in to compensate, so that way we're getting proper mobility work and we're not overloading certain joints and things like that. A lot of times, people used to do this. Now this was great for bodybuilding back in the day, they used to do this, all right? You gotta keep it crazy close, all right? The only issue with this is that some people suffer from wrist dexterity, all right? And it might be too close and their wrists are actually beginning to bend, all right? I'm not gonna tell you that this grip is wrong, okay? It's gonna have to see on how your wrist dexterity is. Now, if you are having that issue, it could be because you're just a really wide person and you can't get your hands in that close. But if you are a narrow person, that grip may work. But if you're still having issues, you need to work on that dexterity of your wrist. Your wrists are going to be a lifesaver to your shoulders, just like your ankle dexterity is going to be a lifesaver to your your knees and hips, okay? So you want to work on that. Most of the time, a good solid close grip bench press for most people is I'm going to take my thumbs, I'm going to turn them in, and I'm gonna touch the edge of the knurl in the middle of the bar. That means my hands will probably be in the soft spots. Now, my hands are a little bit wider, so they're gonna hit a little bit of the knurl on the outside. But the tips of my thumbs are hitting the inside of that knurl, all right? Now, I'm gonna look, my elbows are out, I'm gonna bring them in, I'm gonna wrap my thumb around it, okay? Now, obviously I would have a better lift off if I had weight on the bar, right? But look, I'm gonna come down and my elbows are almost scraping my body. Boom. Elbows are almost scraping my body. See, they're not out. I'm not doing this. I'm keeping them close, okay? Another thing people like to do is they'll take the inside where the pointer finger starts in the curl of the thumb, and I'm gonna wrap myself around the beginning of the knurl of the bar right there, all right? So then I wrap it in right here, lock my hands in, press up. Obviously I wouldn't press up with my elbows out, okay? My elbows are in, and this seems to be probably the most proficient way of close grip bench pressing for most people. All right? So like I said, it's a pretty basic tutorial, but I just want you to understand the point that every time our hands get closer, our elbows are gonna have to lock in and come in tighter, all right? Your elbows and your shoulder, your triceps are gonna produce a lot of tension and a lot of the press, you know, taken away from the chest as our hands move in. This is why you have different styles of powerlifting. Some do a little way wide, a wide grip so they don't have to move the bar path as much. Some people do a closer grip because they're just so powerful in those tricep areas, okay, for powerlifting. It's the same thing in jiu-jitsu and judo and wrestling and so on and sambo. You know, I'm always powering through everything. So that's why I'm not a big fan of programming the bench, so say. I like to use a close grip bench press or a decline close grip bench press and dips as a more way to program the strength aspect for the grappling based sports. So just understand that there's nothing wrong, wider close grip, just as your hands move in, your elbows must come in also, all right? And I'm sure people are gonna freak out and say, well, you didn't talk about the hips and you didn't talk about the feet and blah, blah, blah. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're just talking about the hand placement for grappling based sports.